Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I don't know the episode number, and that doesn't really matter at this point. What you're here for is the Planet Nintendo podcast. Patrick isn't here. He's going to be so mad that I messed that up, but I don't care, Patrick. If you want it done right, you be here next time. That's just how it goes.
Damn.
That said, on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Switch 5.0 update leak. Is it legit? Is it not? What's the deal with that? Also, Patrick's topic that he's not going to be able to talk about, so he'll probably be sure for the after show, because he'll probably do a breakout of that alone. But, you know, with the modding and the custom Pro controllers becoming so popular, will Nintendo fans give Switch that customizable option in the future? Then we have Joe's topic, which is as the Switch gets itself in the hands of other people, will it shift to become more memorable titles for the Switch? What will become the more memorable titles? And then myself, will there be a Nintendo Direct this week? Planet Nintendo Podcast, here we go. Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru, and it is time for the Planet Nintendo podcast, which you already know because you've been watching it for a little bit now. You know the deal, the whole rigmarole and all that stuff. Joe, after work, I am here with. What's up, buddy?
Yo, doing good. It's been a crazy week. I was just telling you that before. I'm surprised I am awake.
That's good, though.
Yeah.
First off, stop. You took a nap. Don't act like you
I
just...
did take a nap.
Don't act like you just rolled out of work and you're like, here we are, all bright-eyed and cheery.
That's what I was saying. I'm surprised I'm awake right now.
You probably just keep sleeping. I don't blame you. Yeah, I'm here. I'm with you. But, of course, you had to show up because the guy that's supposed to run the ship decided not to come in today.
Oh, man.
I don't know what his problem is. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but whatever.
Patricio, where are you?
I guess when you run the show, you can kind of like just not show up. I guess that's a thing. I don't know.
Oh, man.
He's mad right now. He's listening and he's like, what is wrong with this guy?
There's a reason it's Mario and Luigi, all right?
This is true.
Luigi's not here right now.
this is... I think Patrick is more Princess Peach. I think I'm Mario, you're Luigi, and he got kidnapped by Bowser. So that's just how we are, man.
That's terrible.
That's amazing is what that is.
Oh, my God. Patrick, I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. Don't you apologize. I'm going to cut that out so that way that apology never exists.
Oh, no.
That's the nice thing about being the editor. I get to do whatever I want to do. So... it's weird because Patrick likes to play games, and you know me, I'm just more straight-laced. I just want to do the show, and it is what it is. But I wanted real quickly, I want to welcome Patrick's, his fans and all that stuff. I've been kind of getting adequated with them a little bit this week because I've been joining Patrick's streams in the chat and like typing and stuff, and then playing against them, because he's been playing some Splatoon 2, so I've been jumping in, playing against them. It's been a lot of fun. Something kind of special happened this week, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
and I wanted to talk about that for a minute, if we
could.
So,
sure. I didn't think we were going to go there. Okay.
Yeah, of course we're going to go there. Come on, we asked for this weeks ago, and honestly, like, they pulled through. We on this podcast, we told everybody, like, if you're listening to this podcast or whatever, go subscribe to Joe's channel. We want to try to push him to 1,000 subscribers. And this week it happened. And
it's crazy.
It's nuts that like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the support from this show and your streams that we've done with Nintendo Talks, and just it's crazy. Like I want to personally shout out Joey Splats. That dude is amazing. He's like one of the mainstays on Nintendo Talks channel.
He's all over, dude.
He's awesome. He's an awesome human being,
man.
Dude. Yeah, and I feel bad because I got him addicted to Twitch apparently because he said, "Dude, I'm here because you, but now I'm like hooked on this, and there's all these streams that I watch. I blame you if I fail out of university." I was like, "Dude, no, blame Bobby and
don't
Patrick.
Blame me. I didn't do nothing, man.
I have nothing to do with this. I don't want your blood on my hands."
He's a good dude, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Another one is Rybo. Rybo is
great, man.
He is as solid as they come, man. You've basically stolen him from me. Like he He was in my back pocket, and I don't know what you did, man. I don't know what you did, but you stole him from me, and now he's like, every time I go into your stream, there's Rybo, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are you doing here, man? I was just streaming, and you weren't there. What are you doing here? No, he's, it's all good. What I love about Rybo is when he does come to my streams, he's very analytical, and I love how he breaks my stream down, and he'll be, like, where everybody else is watching the content, he's watching the content, but he's breaking down frame rates and stuff. And he's like, dude, you're missing frame rates. Like, what's going on here? And he's like, and then he'll be messaging me privately, like, try this, do this. Dude, I love that guy. Like, straight up, man. He is one of the nicest guys that I have met in all of this. Just giving and caring and just all-around classy guy, man. Yeah.
I completely agree, man. Rybo, man, dude, he's like become the gift master of my streams. Like, dude. that's what he's known for on my end.
The other day, so what happened was, just to give people a little backstory, what was going on. So Patrick, it started with my stream, right? So I had a New Year's Eve stream, and you and Patrick showed up in that stream, and I started telling people, like, stop what you're doing right now. Go over and subscribe to Joe's channel. We want to try to push him to 1,000 subscribers. And then they started going. I think we got you up to about 8. I think you were at 8. No, I'm sorry. You were at 960.
I was like 960, 970 or something like that. We got you up
to like 980, 990, somewhere in
by
there.
By the end of it, we ended up at 990.
Yeah. So then I go to Patrick's stream, and he's like, during the stream, he's playing with Bammer TV, which is his friend Dave. Those guys are playing Splatoon. Well, he's playing Splatoon, and Dave's just talking trash. And I'm playing on my side, and he's like, "Hey guys, where's Joe at? Let me see where he is number wise." And he looks, and we're still at 990. He's like, "Dude, we can do this. Like, we can get him there." And all of a sudden, like, it's like we're doing the countdown, and people are just going and subscribing. And it's like, click, 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 click. And I'm like, it's gonna happen, man.
Dude,
you hit the 1,000.
It was in like 5 minutes, in the span of 5 minutes. It was like, what the hell is happening? What?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. It was pretty epic. And then both Patrick and I called you. I called you first.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
I
called you first. But then I told Patrick, Patrick is so stupid. He really is. I said, call him, dude. Call him now. He goes, how do I call him through Twitch? I go, dude, on the phone, man. And he's like, trying to, through Facebook? I said, on the phone.
On the phone.
So I like message him.
He doesn't know numbers.
I don't know numbers. So he don't have your phone number, right? So I message him your phone number. Like, here's his phone number. Call him up. And he's like, he's not going to. I'm like, he'll answer the phone, man. He's going to answer now after I just talked to him.
Yeah.
And then he called. You look at the phone, and you're like, I was like, it's on. This is good stuff.
I was like, I think I know who this is.
Yeah. It was good, man. It was fun.
That was awesome, but yeah, man, that I didn't expect that. That was crazy.
It was so much fun. It was blast. You know what, man? You know, the thing is like when Patrick and I kind of were like back and forth in this race to 1,000. Mm-hmm. I was ahead of him, and then he came surging right past me, and he hit 1,000 before I did, and then I came right up behind him, and him and I are like, he's beyond me now. He's like another 500.
He's almost at like 2,000 now, right?
Like
almost.
He's 1,700 at the moment. But we at the one point we were both neck and neck. Like it was like back and forth, and then like he just he kind of pushed beyond me now, and which I'm happy for, man. It's awesome that we're all kind of like together, pushing together and striving together. I liken it to like when you go to the gym with your lifting buddies. And you're pushing each other, and you're trying to help each other get to that next level, and get further and further and further. And that, like, I don't feel like at any point any of us are jealous of what the other one's achieving. Like, it's just all we really just love each other, and we're trying to help each other. And I like that. Like, it's the first. I'll be honest with you. It's besides my Make Us Better guys, like, it's the first time in all of this that I found like unselfish people that I literally just met like not that long ago. And
yeah, dude.
They're just like, hey, man, let's help each other. Let's push. And it's, like, awesome. It really is, man. I couldn't be more blessed. Now let's talk about the craziness of the internet. Last night, again, I'm doing a live stream, right? And
that was crazy.
Yeah, Patrick's like, guys, did you see this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? and then all of a sudden this leaked video hits. Now at this point, like let's have full exposure. Like it is now Saturday evening. This thing's been out for over almost 24 hours.
Yeah, Saturday the 6th.
Yeah, so it's almost 24 hours. A lot of people are starting to tear it apart and break it down. I just don't know how to feel about it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I take some of what these guys are saying as maybe valid, but at the same time, this is, in theory, a beta test. We don't know how old this video is. Like, people are going like, oh, well, the YouTube logo is old. Okay, but how old is the video?
Yeah.
Yes, the video just went up, but what if this video is months ago, and this is all beta test of what's going on, and then maybe these are the things that are legit going to happen now. We don't know. And then the other thing is like the memory issues, like the numbers aren't jiving properly, but we don't know what I don't understand is like, did it ever, and maybe you looked a little bit further than I did, was there ever a number that showed exactly how much Mario Kart was in the memory? Because people are saying like the Mario Kart memory doesn't add up.
No, I didn't break it down to that extent. I got to see it twice, and then a third time when you guys were doing the breakdown, you and Canardian. And I like wigged out at the data management section. I was like, whoa, cloud storage. And that was all I paid attention to, which I thought, I'm guessing is like 2 gigs because it looked like at the halfway point of 1 gig free. But yeah, no, now that you mention it, I'm going to have to go back and check that out and see if there's anything that looks a little bit off. And I'm on the same notion too. I'm like, this could all be things that Nintendo would bring in future updates for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, given where this video came out of and how it's just like spreading like wildfire right now, and nobody's really claiming whether it's false or true at the same time. I will say this. I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Cast 2 days ago. No, sorry, Friday's episode. And you can kind of tell. I've gotten it to a point where I can kind of tell when people know things and they don't know things. And Tim started mentioning things, and Tim's sort of like their Nintendo guy to an extent, and I'm wondering if he knows something, but I feel like Nintendo is also very close to the chest and they don't just let things out like that. But I almost feel like, okay, he's mentioning things that were in that video that same night that it happened. Wonder, this is like conspiracy theory Joe coming out right now. And it's like, okay, maybe this could be a possible thing. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's something that I've been asking for, was folders. It drives me nuts that I can't organize all my games. I have a certain method, and even if we get that, that's a win for me.
I think that, like, if you look at the 3DS and you look at the Wii U, both of those had folders. Yeah. I think it's a no-brainer we're getting folders. Like, some of the stuff that was being shown in that, I just thought about it as, well, that's a no-brainer. Of course we're going to get that eventually. Yeah. The main thing for me is the themes. There is no doubt in my mind we're getting themes. Like, Nintendo is making money on that on the other side, you know, and I totally see them. It's a JPEG. They're charging $2 for a JPEG. You're like, why wouldn't you do that? That's crazy not to. You already have the artwork anyway. Like, if you're going to charge me $2 for a, you know, that Zelda picture,
Breath of the Wild theme,
that thing has been all over the place a million times. Like, that's, if you could
and
put
people
that
would
up,
buy it again.
Yeah, people would pay.
It's a 3DS theme.
Yeah. So when you look at that and you go, okay, that's a really strong possibility. The thing for me is why I think it's not legit. I want it to be legit. Don't get me wrong. I hope to God it's legit. The reason why I don't think it's legit is this. 2 reasons. One, everything in that video is what every single person wants. That, like, they nail everything in that video as stuff that we all want. Yeah. I just can't see Nintendo giving us everything we want. I love them. I just don't think it can happen.
It almost makes too much sense that this would all roll out in one update. It's like all logical things, but we're dealing with an illogical company. Yeah. So, it's kind of like hit or miss. If they delve this out, and if the rumors are the update would roll out in February, we also have to take into consideration, does that mean the online program rolls out in February? Because I'm assuming that cloud storage probably would be linked up with the Nintendo Online program, sort of like how PS Plus has their cloud saves with their PS Plus program.
Yeah. The other reason why I don't think it's real is this. So when Smash was out and all the DLC characters were starting to happen, there was a leaked video of Rayman going to become the next playable character.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody thought that was real. Because that looked
it was like
so real. It was
Rayman joins the battle.
Yeah, but it was a
like
character select screen, and he went through.
Get out of here! I missed that one.
It was a whole character select screen. He picks the character, and then boom, it pops up like Rayman, all the characters do, and it had a whole animation to it and all that stuff. People freaked out. They thought this is legit. This is real.
Wow.
And then like a couple days later, the guy come out. He's like, no, I made the video. It's not real. And.
Talk about putting yourself out there to be the most hated person.
Well, but he was trying to parlay it into a job. He was trying to be like, this is what I can do. This is my portfolio.
Yeah.
It helped for him to some degree because he's got a huge YouTube following, and that's kind of what he did. Was he would do YouTube videos after that, basically doing other characters. People would be like, hey, I want this character, and he would go do it.
That's awesome.
He would show the process and all that. But so those two things make are haunting me in my back of my mind.
Yeah.
I want this thing so badly though, because
I think we all do, man.
If that stuff is legit, that's going down, man, that
would be amazing. It's
my God, dude.
It would be the perfect start to 2018 as excuse me, as Nintendo saying, hey, we hear you. And we're actually pulling through with it.
Now, see, that's the reason why I think it is real. It's because Nintendo's been listening to us lately, and we've been asking for things, and then it shows up. Case in point, the headsets that you're wearing right now, minus the cord, you can actually
pop the dongle in.
You can actually pop the USB dongle into your Switch, and it works now. It didn't for the longest time. So when you see those things coming to fruition, nobody had to ask for the GameCube controller to work. It works now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that they're just doing things that they know fans want. Man, if they actually make it, we are able to. The one caveat though is, I don't know where the microphone is on this thing. This guy put on that one point, it's like microphone settings.
That's right. Yeah.
So is it the microphone settings on the Switch, or is it because he put a headset in?
To my understanding, there wasn't a mic put in here, was there?
No, there is no mic in that thing.
Because it's just the light sensor that's down here at the bottom, and then your speakers on the side.
Yeah.
Unless the speaker, one of it's a speaker mic thing, on the iPhones. But
wait a minute, you have a different colored kickstand?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that at?
It came with the backplate that I failed to put on.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I got one of those Amazon things.
Okay.
I'll eventually get it on there because I want to switch this out.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes with that. That's why, good luck with that.
It's actually a few screws. It's just that one of them is being real fidgety and not wanting to move. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to strip the screw.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go with the Joy-Con thing, because I always run into stripped screws, or I strip a screw, and then it's just game over.
Speaking of Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Did you see new ones? And they're reverse.
That's exactly why I was like, why do you do this, Nintendo?
I just bought them.
Those of you who don't know, the green and the pink are reversed for the US. Yeah. So if you have the Japan ones, you could complete your set.
Yeah.
For another $90, $80.
I bought them. I told my wife, and I was like, I'll do you a solid.
Pre-order.
What's that?
I didn't even realize they were up for order.
GameStop.
I'm going to have to do that after this.
GameStop has a pre-order. Well, they went up Friday. They're still up. I just did it a little while ago. But I told my wife, I said, I'll give you the pink, you give me the green. And she's like, okay.
Nice.
Now, I'm not really a fan of the green, but I thought green and gray I'll definitely do.
Well, you know what this means? These will probably be the same green and pink they use for Kirby and Yoshi. Oh, speaking of which...
I don't know what that is. Nothing to do
it's
with
Kirby. It's Kirby.
Get out of here with your nonsense.
Dude, he's even got your hat. He's got your hat.
Get out of my face with that. Okay, so
you.
let's jump into Patrick's topic. He said, with modding and custom pro controllers becoming so popular, will Nintendo give Switch fans more customization options going forward? Like a create your own pro controller, offer a similar Joy-Con service as to Japan. So for those that don't know, in Japan they have a website where you can actually log in. But
So
this
guilty.
isn't just Joy-Con. You don't just buy the Joy-Cons. What you're doing is you're buying a Switch, and then you get to pick the Joy-Cons you want. Like, you basically just customize the entire thing. You can actually change the bands, the straps, those as well. So, what do you think? You think where are we at with this?
Man, this is like this is all just the theme of Nintendo's listening. It's kind of weird. It's kind of awesome that you can actually go out and get these customs, whether it be through Nintendo, through third-party companies like Colorware, right? That's the one that you go through.
There's a
Sorry,
couple
and then
Doyle Customs also on Instagram. If you'll check him out, Mr. Space Heater on Instagram, check him out. There's another one that's on the tip of my tongue, and I lost his mind. I lost his name.
yeah, there's a bunch
Captain
of companies.
Alex or something like that's his name. Dude, these guys are so good. Doyle Customs, man, they go insane. Like, they have all different, like Super Nintendo, NES ones. They have all kind, like different color buttons and everything.
It is insane. There's this one dude in Korea that's been I think it's Korea that's been doing like a bunch of the crazy ones. That's where I first started seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like posted up through like Reddit or some other forum site or something like that.
Mr. Space Heater, Kyle, he's on Instagram too. He is really good. He's been doing a lot of he's actually doing back plates as well to match the custom Joy-Cons that he's making.
Nice.
I know
nice.
he did a really cool Breath of the Wild one where it's Ganon and it's Calamity Ganon, and he's kind of swirling between the two controllers, and then the back of is like the silhouette of the Hyrule Castle and everything. It's really, dude, the guy is really talented, man. So
I can't be spending all this money on this.
yeah, it's just nuts to see what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
So the question, I guess, is, do we see Nintendo getting to this point? Like, as far as the customs that are crazy customs, which are similar to what the custom amiibos are, they'll never do that stuff. Like, we might occasionally start getting some variations coming down the pipeline of these things. I hope we start to get stuff. Like, dude, I looked at the Colorware. When Colorware did a pair of NES Joy-Cons, dude, these things were out of control.
They look legit.
I kicked myself for not buying them. I was going to buy. I almost pulled the trigger like 2-3 times on them.
Dude.
So
what was it? It was like $200 or something like that, right?
They were expensive,
Yeah.
and that was the thing that was killing me. I was like, man, do I really want to spend like $200 and then shipping on Joy-Cons?
That was the line for me.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a lot of money for just Joy-Cons, and I don't know, man. Like, if it was the whole thing, like if they said to you, like, hey, man, we'll sell you with a dock, that's the hardest part for me.
Oh,
Like, I want
that would be insane.
themed docks as well as the Joy-Cons and all that stuff. Like,
That's where the money is, to be honest with you. With like accessories, Nintendo would make such a killing. They're all about the themes.
yeah,
I don't know if it's more of a they want to get these Switches out and as many of them out, which is why they're not so focused on doing so many customized things or more colors. Or maybe they're just they don't see a match with certain games, so they're just kind of like mixing it all together. But I can totally see them somewhere down the road where once, you know, if they meet like their 2018 going into 2019 numbers, why not go for the next thing and start getting the people that already own Switches to whether they I mean, we all do it with 3DSs, 2DSs.
Dude, I have a bunch of 3DSs. Me and Tony were having this conversation this week because I said to her, you know, and we'll get into this in a little bit in the future. In the future of the episode is, you know, that there's a rumor of a Nintendo Direct, and a lot of people are saying that like Nintendo might finally announce Animal Crossing, and I was like, man, could you imagine if they did like a custom Animal Crossing Switch? And she's like, if that's the case, we're getting one. And I'm like, we're getting two because I want one as well. Like it's crazy to think that like we're looking at that type of nonsense about to happen, and it's pretty impressive. It's pretty awesome.
It blows my mind that Monster Hunter was the first, like, Double Cross was like the first themed Nintendo Switch, and that's the only one we've seen outside of them saying, you know, we're gonna bundle some of these Joy-Cons with different Switches.
Because Monster Hunter actually had the dock. The dock was different too. So I thought we
had the symbol, I think, right? Like that Monster Hunter symbol or whatever it is. People would know.
I would have loved that they would have taken the Splatoon. If they would have taken the Splatoon one a step further, even the Mario one. I literally had my hand on the Mario one.
Dude, the two splash colors would have been perfect for Splatoon. Yeah. The pink and green that they've been promoting with and everything.
They could have really done good.
Gangbusters right there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be something that Nintendo does in turn. I mean, I really think that at some point we're going to get the customization webpage. I think right now what they're trying to do is get it under control, the ability to have these things. They don't have, you know, in terms of the Switch itself, because like I said, in Japan, you're not just buying the Pro controllers, you're basically customizing a Switch. So you're picking the Switch, you're picking the right Joy-Con, the left Joy-Con, the right strap, the left strap. Like you're going through and really getting into the crux of what
it's basically a full customized console
games as well. You're actually picking games.
Oh wow!
It's like when you go to Apple and you go to Apple and you buy a Mac or a MacBook and you start going through and you're like, okay, what mouse do you want and what keyboard do you want and how much RAM and how much, and like you're going through all that stuff with this.
That's the perfect example.
Yeah, and that's what this is. That's what this is essentially. So.
It's like oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Whatever. It slipped my mind.
What do you got for us this week, Joe?
Yeah, so I've got as Switches get into the hands of more people, will we see a shift in what becomes more memorable titles for the Switch? So basically, what I mean is, I forget where I heard it, but Breath of the Wild's attach rate at this point is 55% compared to Mario Odyssey, which is 65%. Because, you know, it goes back to a couple episodes where I was saying before between like what's the more memorable, I forget what it was, but it was kind of like what's the more memorable franchise. And I was like, I think people will remember Mario more than Zelda because Mario's more synonymous with Nintendo. Will Breath of the Wild be that game that people are still recommending new owners to get, even if they're not into that series? Or are they just going to go ahead and pick, you know, for their kid, oh, Mario, I know Mario, I played that when I was
there. I think the issue here is that with Zelda, when you recommend Zelda to somebody, you got to know that they're a gamer. That is not a game that just anybody wants to play. That is a hardcore game, and that's not a slack on someone that doesn't play a lot of games. What I'm trying to say is, like, if you don't play a lot of games and you're not into like adventure games and going out and basically putting 100+ hours into a game, that is not the game you want to recommend to a friend when they're buying a new Switch. You're going to want to recommend Mario because Mario is a lot more of Mario. There isn't much differentiation or variation on that game. You know, it's essentially Mario 64, Mario Sunshine. It's one of those types of games. So
it's the greatest hits.
Yeah, it's just in a long list of great Mario games, and that's what this is. So you know, when you look at it, like, honestly, like, if I had someone come up to me and they weren't really into games that I knew, I mean, I would recommend Mario Kart, Splatoon 2, Mario, like, those would all come before I'd go to Zelda. Zelda would be one of the last ones. If I had a friend that was a gamer and I knew, like, he plays games, like, I'd be like, you get Zelda. That's your number one pick. Like, you don't play games. I've bought Zelda for a couple of different people that are friends of mine. Like people that were... One guy is a big PlayStation guy. Big PlayStation guy. It's all he does is talk about PlayStation. And he was on the fence about a Switch. And I had said to him before the Switch came out, because he was on a podcast, and he had a co-host who had bought 5 Switches. Well,
Jesus Christ.
He was just making sure he had them in case they got canceled. He was going to cancel some of them.
Oh, okay.
But he needed 3.
That makes sense.
He needed 3, him and his 2 kids, but he bought 2 extra ones just in case anything got canceled or whatever. So I said to the one guy, I'm like, if you buy one of his Switches, I will buy you Zelda Breath of the Wild. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, that ought to make it an easy decision for you. And it was. And he bought the thing. And then the other one was Jonathan Brown, who's part of our community. And he basically was like finally getting a Switch after months and months and months of waiting. And I was like, what games are you going to get? And one of the first games he listed was Zelda. And I was like, I'll do you a solid. If you buy a Switch, I will give you Zelda. I had an additional copy up in my thing. Because what happened was my collector's edition didn't come until Saturday. My Switch came Friday, and I was like, I'm going to GameStop and buying Zelda now. I'm not waiting till tomorrow. So I didn't even open my other Zelda. And then I told Jonathan, I'm like, hey man, if you want it, you get it one, don't buy it. I'll send you this one. So that's what happened. And but like those are 2 people that I know are gamers and would appreciate this game. And the game would mean something to them.
That's awesome, though.
But for me, it's like, that's so when I have friends that are gamers, I'm like, you got to get Zelda. Like, that's a game you got to have. So for me, it all depends on what category you fall in. Now, majority of the world, I think, would look at this console and go, Mario. Like, Mario is the big franchise that basically listen, it's the marquee character of Nintendo. It's no different than, like, there might be a lot of people that love Donald Duck. You know what I mean? A lot of people are just like, Donald Duck is the best. But at the end of the day, Mickey Mouse rules the roost, man. And it is what it is. So, I mean, they could have the greatest Donald Duck ride in all of the world, but at the end of the day, people are going to associate the Magic Kingdom with Mickey Mouse. And it's just the way it is.
Oh, gosh, you kind of screwed me there. Oh, man.
Okay, so, I mean, that basically wraps that up, and we will move to my topic now, which is, there's this rumor of this Nintendo Direct that's supposed to hit. I believe Patrick's putting the show out Wednesday. So, in theory, we should know by now. He typically puts the show out 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. If that's the case, then we should know by now, as you're listening to this, people, that there is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. So, we don't know at this point, as we're recording this. Again, we're recording this on Saturday evening at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever we are right now. So my question to you is, A, do you believe the rumors that we're getting a Direct on this week? If not, when do you think we're going to get it? And then, what are you hoping comes out of this thing?
So by the time, whether we find out whether or not we're getting one, it will have been over a year since the announcement of like showing off the Switch and getting the Breath of the Wild announced, release date.
January 2nd or 3rd.
Like it was early in the year. I feel like the 3rd. Yeah.
I think it was like this. Yeah, I think it was the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere around that. Yeah, I streamed that whole thing. That was awesome.
Me and Sean did. Toby did as well.
I would believe it. But again, we're dealing with an illogical company here where they kind of do what they want to do. Yeah. But all roads seem to be leading towards Nintendo Switch a year later from, the announcement of the launch date and all that stuff.
I'm saying is do you believe the rumors?
Of the Nintendo Direct, right?
But yeah. No, the rumors are that January 11th is the Direct. Like, it's a finite rumor that's basically saying, like, January 11th, we're getting a Direct.
I mean, yeah, we're around that time. Yeah. Why not? And then January is the perfect time to kind of showcase all this stuff. I believe it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, we get an announcement. Usually they play pretty close to the chest with these Directs. They're usually like only a few days out from when they announce a Direct.
I think we're gonna.
Sometimes it's a week out, but
no, it's typically like
usually like 2-3 days. I feel like.
Yeah, normally it's Tuesday. Like,
yeah.
Well, not normally Tuesday. Normally, it would be like if the Direct is on Thursday, the announcement would come Tuesday, and then we would get it Thursday.
Like that.
They normally go like on this date. We'll have an announcement to make.
Yeah, like the Nintendo Direct for the Animal Crossing thing. That was on a Wednesday. I recall that being announced on a Monday.
Yeah.
But then people got confused because it was like they wasn't sure if it was Wednesday Japan. Like they've been doing that a lot too, which confuses people. But I feel like it's pretty strong. And you mentioned also what do you think I'd expect?
What are you hoping for? Not what you expect. What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping for some news on Pokemon. It was funny. Was a few episodes ago we were talking about how my big hopes for Pokemon would be the big change up. If it's coming out if they're really trying to push for this to be 2018, I'm starting to lean more towards you in that this might be the half step, and then the next version becomes the full on revision and go hard on this game. With Pokemon specifically, I wonder if they're going to return to Kanto. Like, that's my hope. That's my hope.
It's a big rumor. Yeah.
I really hope that they go back to Kanto, do like a I don't know, a sequel of some sort to Red and Blue. Not so much like a full on remake of that game, although that would be just as fine with me as well. Red version particularly being my favorite, even though it's the same story. What I'd probably also expect to be on the safe side would be things like Animal Crossing, maybe some more Prime 4, like not screenshots, but like some sort of information. Even like a developer thing, like with gosh, oh my god, names escaping me, but what Pokemon Company basically did at 3, but for this. Probably some updates to some of the other games. This is
I think we definitely hear about Fire Emblem
DLC stuff.
I think Fire Emblem definitely gets the trigger pulled on it. That it's like, hey,
release dates for that.
There's a release date, or at least like this is what the game is, which I'll be excited for because I really am looking forward to the next Fire Emblem game.
Yoshi and Kirby will probably get.
I think they're going to actually start
those
getting
are spring games.
Well, Kirby has a name. Yoshi doesn't have a name yet. I think they're going to actually get.
Has Yoshi ever had a name?
Well, Yoshi's Woolly World and like Yoshi's
Island. Sorry, I thought you meant
like
a metaphorical name.
No. I mean like a title for the game.
Yeah.
I think we finally get the titles on both. Like I said, Kirby has a title for the name for the game. I think we finally get one for Yoshi. I think they get release dates as well. I think they're gonna talk about Bayonetta 2 again, or Bayonetta 1 and 2 again to kind of get people more hyped up because that comes in a few weeks after this supposed direct. I think we probably start to get our first true glimpse at online and being charged for it.
Yes.
I think February they're going to talk about it, or I think they're going to talk about it at the direct and then expect to start paying in March. I really believe that they're not going to go longer than a year without charging people for it, but I think they're going to start to lay out what it is, and that's another reason why I look back at this new leaked footage and go, maybe we're going to get some of it, because I think it all kind of coincides, and I think Nintendo wants to go, like, you get this, and you get this, and you... See, that's where it makes sense to me, because if they go, like, you're getting all this stuff, and it all comes bundled in with this $20 a month, people are going to break loose at $20 a month without even blinking an eye to get all that stuff, to get online, and to get, there's actual... If
they're still doing that free game thing, then...
Yeah, it's all that stuff. Like, so I think we're going to find out a little bit about that as well.
Which that leads into Virtual Console, if that's the case. If they start an... Yeah.
That's another animal they got to go through. Because, I know that there was a rumor that they... Or people talked about it, like... And Nintendo kind of talked about it. Like, they felt like Virtual Console was just old games. Didn't necessarily have to be on a console as it was. And they likened the NES Classic to be a Virtual Console to some degree. And I don't believe, I could be wrong, I don't believe that the Super Nintendo Classic did anywhere near as well as the NES. Unless there was just more to get and they were easily to get. But it just seemed like the frenzy was so high on the NES. And I don't hear nobody talking about it. Yeah, but I don't hear anybody talking about the Super Nintendo. So I don't know whether people got them and they were just happier, or if they just didn't care.
It might have been a little bit of A, a little bit of B, because I know a few of my friends, like outside of YouTube, Twitch friends, that were like, no, I'm not going to do it because I didn't even get an NES Classic. But I'm like, dude, I can get one right now. I'm right in front of it. I see it at this Best Buy. I can pick it up for you.
Yeah.
And they were just burned on the whole NES Classic experience. But then on the other hand, I also feel like Nintendo kind of held up on their... This is the theme of the show. Nintendo kind of held up on their promise of more SNES Classics. Granted, I still don't see them a lot
I see
online.
Them
I see them in store.
I see them. I never, ever, ever, ever walked in a store and saw an NES Classic. Never.
Yeah.
But I've walked in the store on numerous occasions to Best Buy and Target and have seen them in the glass cases. So
wow.
That's something, it's never been a lot. It's been like one or two, but
yeah,
I've seen
here.
them. I've seen them. Like I said again, I never saw NES. So I don't. My problem is I just don't know whether or not it's the hype or not. Whether it's people just don't care, or that it's just people just aren't really, that invested in it as they were. So I think
it's like
that
a holiday item.
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah,
the year before
they cut it off after the holiday. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but I want Animal Crossing so bad, it's not even funny.
Damn.
Because that'll be the game that I stream all the time.
That's Bobby's game.
Day that will be my game, man. I was just telling the guys today. We had a Patreon hangout on Google Hangouts today. So if you were a Patreon member of Make Us Better, we just invited you to come hang out with us, and myself and Joseph were there, and the guys, we got into this conversation a little bit, and the guys were like, what do you want? I'm like, I want Animal Crossing, man. And I'm like, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to stream the hell out of it. You better be ready, because I'm going to log in, I'm going to be like, okay, guys, it's 15 hours of fishing today. Let's go. Man. Like that, because that's what I'll do,
You think they'll do a quick indie showcase mixed in with it, like they did, what was it, the week before launch? I think it was.
I wouldn't be surprised if they flip it this time,
and
they go, okay, this week we're doing the Nintendo Direct on Thursday, and then the next week we get an indie showcase.
Yeah,
because I think they want to keep spotlighting the indies,
which would be awesome.
The other thing I think they're going to show and talk about that they didn't do in the last Direct is Wolfenstein. I think they're going to put more focus on Wolfenstein, because that comes out this month, doesn't it? This month or next month?
I feel like it was a February thing, but I also don't know if there's an official release date for that. So maybe we do get a release date.
I think they're going to talk about that. I think, and the rumor's been heavy, and it's been getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And I'm not sure if people just want it and they're trying to will it into existence. But Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, that was another big one. I saw somewhere a list of like a breakdown of rumored stuff, and Undertale being one of them. That would be an awesome Nindy showcase thing if that was on there.
Yeah, that would.
I'll lose my mind.
I'm wondering. Yeah. Now, what was I didn't pay much attention to this, but apparently this week, like 28 or something like that, or 18 games went up on Amazon. What was that all about?
So the deal with that, from what I understood, was and the same thing happened last year, right before the January Direct.
Okay.
A bunch of games that were just listed as Switch title number 1, number 2, number 3 were thrown up, and the image that was used was actually the same image as last year, where it would be to be announced at Nintendo Direct or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing that, but that was the same image that was used for last year as well. So it could have been one of two things. Could have just been complete bug error, or that was metadata being entered in on Amazon's end, and it kind of accidentally someone hit the publish button. And that
so they all disappeared.
They all disappeared. They were all gone that same day, probably within minutes to hours, I'd imagine. But enough for people to catch screenshots and post it up on the internet and make everyone go crazy.
What I don't get is this.
So it was like 25 titles.
It was a lot. It was a lot of titles, man.
Yeah.
So, but this is what I don't get. Something like that happens. How do people find that? Like, how? Are you sitting on Amazon all day, like, just searching Switch games? Searching obscure Switch
You could
stuff?
just be shopping, and then he was like, oh, wait, what's this?
Possible. It's crazy,
Like, if you type in, I do this on Best Buy because it's the quickest way for me to, like, search up everything that's coming out on Best Buy. But I just type in Nintendo Switch games, and it gives me all the games that are available for pre-order and ready to add to cart.
Mm-hmm.
Someone might have just typed that in, and the titles were literally Nintendo Switch game title number. So it could have been the first thing that popped up on the screen, and it was like, what is this? And that could have been that. It's crazy. But was it? Yeah, it was like 25 titles or something like that. It might have been more.
I think it was like 29, 30 of them.
Something crazy. Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember a couple of people talking about, like, people titled their podcast after it. Like, Switch game number 29 was the one that I saw. And
It's crazy.
it's nuts. We are in a crazy moment right now. Like, there's so much stuff going on, and it's like it's hard to make heads or tails of everything and what's up.
It's crazy publicity stunt, possibly. Who the hell knows?
I think we definitely hear about the Splatfest in it. They're gonna. Gonna talk
Didn't
about,
one just get announced? I don't know if it was for the U.S.
It is for
comedy.
US.
It is for the U.S.
Comedy versus drama, comedy versus action. That is up now. You can pick, and it actually goes Friday. So again,
Nice.
if the direct is on Thursday, they're going to talk about it, and it goes. They're going to be like, "Hey, tomorrow, be sure to jump into this." So it just makes a lot of sense that, like, this is where we're going with all this.
Yeah.
I think they also now need to define what happens to Splatoon 2, because I think they're officially done now with, like, the content.
Didn't they say they were going a full year though?
But what I mean is, like, they're moving into the end of it. You know what I mean? So they probably got another 4 or 5 months before it's over.
Yeah.
So maybe they're going to be like, hey, this will be the final DLC pack. Like, this is what we're going to give you.
I see what you're saying.
This is it.
Yeah.
These are the maps we're going to give you. This is... Because I think that, like, the stuff that they've done, it's weird. The maps that they've done, even the DLC maps, nothing feels special about them. In Splatoon 1, it felt special when you got these maps because everything seemed to have, like, a really solid theme, and it seemed to be built really well, the levels. They had, like, Camp Cuttlefish or something like that. Like, that was a really cool one. It was all themed like a campground, and, you know, and then they had, like, the beach theme one where they're out on the beach, like, not the beach, but they're over the water, and then the levels raised and all. They don't have anything like that in this one. Everything's real. It's like they put most of their time and effort into the Splatfest special maps, and I wish they would just take a little bit more care with the ones that they're actually putting out.
Now, are they not releasing those Splatfest maps once the Splatfests are over?
Well, the Splatfests are open for 2 years. The Splatfests are going to go for 2 years.
Yeah.
Every single month that we've got a new Splatfest, it's a new level with it. It's not the same Splatfest, you know. It's called Shifty Space or something like that.
But, like, does it get added into the rotation of maps in your normal Splatoon game after the Splat? Wow.
No, like here's the thing. Like, so this month they'll have one for action comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that Splatfest is done, that map disappears.
It's gone, right?
It's gone.
Okay.
Now, what the theory is that map will stay associated every January. That map will be in rotation. So you'll only play that map in January.
Oh, okay. Damn. But even then, you know, it's like, okay, once that's gone, why not push that through an update a couple months later? Like, that could be your way to continue content even past a year. Just be like, hey.
But the levels feel very...
Even the Splatfest maps are, like, a little more not bland.
They're bland because they feel because it's basically like a space station type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, levels are sliding and moving and doing stuff, and it's like it doesn't feel like it's associated anything. You're up in the air. It's just not.
Do you think they focused more competition wise, like they were trying to get this esports thing off the ground, and that's why the maps are structured the way they are?
Possibly. It's hard to tell. Because you only get that one day to play, and that's it, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
So maybe it is something like, hey, we're gonna have competitions, and these are gonna be the maps.
Yeah.
We don't want everybody to be able to play them.
Oh, sorry, I meant like the maps in general. Like you're saying, all the maps.
Well, all the maps are just, like what I mean is like when you look at all the maps, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just don't feel super special as compared to Splatoon 1. They're good, don't get me wrong, but they're just like, especially the later one, like they just did Mako Mart, and it's a gigantic grocery store, and just doesn't. It feels like
another battlefield.
It feels like a battlefield. You're in the it just feels like a wide open area where it doesn't feel proper. Where I felt like in Splatoon 1, like every time they released a map, it was totally different than everything that was out already, and it felt special that it was coming out. And so much so that they're bringing some of them back and putting some tweaks and changes on them, which I love. I love playing the older maps, so I'm liking that. But I would just like them for the final one, for the final DLC pack, to just be like, here's every map that we've ever done. Here it is. You can play these,
and then boom.
And then I would also wouldn't mind them to like open it up to when we're playing during the day. If you're not gonna let people vote on the map, then they need to unlock it to 3 maps rather than 2 every 2 hours.
Yeah, I feel like from what I played the last couple of times, I've been trying to get back into it and playing with the community and everything. That's what's really gotten me back into it. Because I've never like hardcore played it like you guys, so it's like fun to actually get a better understanding. But I'm like, oh, this is the same map I played like a month ago when I tried this.
The problem is it gets stuck in these 2-hour rotations.
Yeah,
and that's not even the issue. Like so when it was like that on Splatoon 1 where it was a 4-hour rotation, I was fine with that. My issue with it was the fact of like, you'll go runs where you'll play one map 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you should just be they should be flip-flopping back and forth. That's it.
Flip-flop that, or give us the option like Mario Kart to just select stages. Granted, people will select same stages and that's okay, but every new group that you get is going to have their...
If they did it like Mario Kart, where Mario Kart, the way it works is they give you... If you're in a room, everybody can vote on whatever they want to vote on. But when you're just going randomly, like you're in a random thing, what happens is that you vote on 3 tracks that they want to give you, or you can just pick random, and that's it. So they should do the same thing. Here's 3 maps you could play next, or you could pick random, and then we pick, and that's just what it is. That would be the best, honestly. And I don't know why they're fighting so hard to stop that.
Yeah.
Originally, I got it. In Splatoon 1, it was understandable. I got it. I understood. We were still learning the game, and they didn't want maps to get drowned out. Now, here we are, years later. I think people get what Splatoon's about, and I don't think you're going to get them things where it's like the same map over and over and over again, because you don't give them that ability. You don't give people the ability to just pick any map they want. Like I said, you give them 3. You can pick between these 3, or you pick random, and then we'll throw the map up there. And then when the match is over, same thing. 3 different maps, random.
Exactly.
Done.
No, I agree. I think that would get me more inclined to play it off streams and whatnot, because I'm like, oh, okay, now I can kind of get better at this stage. Let me start picking this one a lot and like actually getting a full rotation, because if I'm playing it the same time, same day, I'm probably going to get the same stage, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless it is that randomized to the point that, they do a good job of like mixing it up every 2 hours. But that would be great. I know we went off track with that one. Yeah.
How do we get back? How do we get back?
But bringing it back, so Splatoon 2, you mentioned. Do you think you get the last wave of updates?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think we'll see a little bit more of Splatoon 2, just a little bit. ARMS is already done, so we're not going to get anything on that one. I think they've basically wrapped up the Zelda DLC, so we won't hear anything about that. They've said, I don't think we're going to hear any DLC for Mario. I think they're not going to add any DLC to that game. That game is done. So I think that moving forward, there's really not anything DLC-wise we're going to hear from. I think moving forward, we're going to start hearing about the future, and we're going to hear about 2018 and the direction that Nintendo's going.
I just to add one more thing. There's not a direct without mentioning something about 3DS. I think we get the last wave of whatever 3DS games are left. I know we still have the Alliance Alive. We have a few Atlas games coming out this year, early 2018 also. So I think we finally get that final hurrah for the 3DS and send it off. And just to go back with that Nindy Showcase idea of hey, splitting it up. If they do Nindy Showcase, I would expect Wargroove, that Advance Wars-like game, to finally get a proper release date. It was supposed to come out last year. It didn't. Inti Creates his new game. That would be huge to get that. And I hope Inti is either working on Mega Man 11 or working on Azure Striker 3, because that would be huge. They put the Striker pack out on Switch last year. I was expecting Azure Striker 3 to be announced at some point, and they didn't say anything. So I think once they get this new game that they're working on, this new IP out, they might either go back to that, or I don't know if Capcom's mentioned what what team is working on it, or if it's in-house or not. But it very much looked like the Mighty Number 9 crew, which was Inti Creates, working on that game. So.
I think we do hear about some of the Capcom stuff in this as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think we get Monster Hunter Double Cross announced to coming to the States. So that's basically, I think, where we're at. So you have anything else to add real quick, or you good?
Yeah, you mentioned Capcom. Sorry, Resident Evil games. I think we get more of them.
Yeah?
I think we get more of them. I think we get 5, 6 for sure at some point, and we start seeing remasters this year on the Switch.
Capcom has said they're going to do a lot more with the Switch.
Yeah.
They're happy with it. Let's just have a little private bet.
What's up?
Do you think that they announce the what's it called? The Disney Afternoon Collection?
Oh my god.
Do you think that gets announced for Switch?
Of all the things. Oh gosh. Man, people really want that, I guess.
I want it.
No. Not now. Especially with Capcom just wrapping up the Resident Evil 7 DLC stuff. I think they're on this notion to get, Mega Man Legacy collections out. They'll probably hear more of that. And so Mega Man is probably the definite. I'd imagine they'd continue to trend with some Resident Evil stuff. And I mean, it would be nice to just throw that in there, but I don't see it for this direct per se. But it would be kind of a nice Twitter explosion to be like, Disney Afternoon Collection coming out. This is the date. Blah, blah, blah.
I think it gets announced, Joe. I'm not going to let you soil my parade. You're not going to ruin my parade.
I knew you were going to say yes. That's why I had to say no. So that way it can happen. You see what's happening? I don't want to jinx it. I want it to come.
So that is all. Thank you guys for listening to us over on iTunes. I believe we're on Google Play as well, all that good stuff. And I know most of you watch us on Patrick's channel, Nintendo Talk. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to this channel. You can follow Patrick over on Twitter at Nintendo Talk. You can follow Joe, Mr. Joe After Work, everywhere. Follow him on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. You can find him there. You can follow myself, Instagram, Twitter, at Nintendo Gurus. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nintendo Guru. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
He said it. It wasn't Nintendo Talk this time. Oh, man.